Good morning. Are you looking for guidance from God? Maybe you're not today, maybe you are, but at some point, many of us are. Are we hiring the right person? Are we dating the right person? If you're married, you got the right person. That's just kind of one of the God's will kind of things. You don't have to worry too much about that. But a lot of times we're not sure. Well, the Bible talks about God opening doors that no man can shut and shutting doors no one can open. And so we can pray that God would do that. He did that with the Apostle Paul. They were wanting to go to Asia, but instead they have this dream of this guy from Macedonia. Paul does. So I don't know if it says Macedonia and this sash across his chest. But because of that, he's able to go there and preach to Lydia, who's this woman who dealt with purple. She was this wealthy, influential person. Very interesting story. And then he ends up in the Philippian jail, where then seems like a really bad thing, but he's able to lead the jailer to Christ. So God is able to work through all these different things. Now, I want to share some verses from the prophet Isaiah, chapter 55, verses 8 and 9, borrowing some thoughts from God's story, Your Story, by Max Lucado. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are your ways my ways, says the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. It's not that your thoughts are necessarily bad, but God has something better. Now, at the end of your life, do you want to go to God and say, look at all these cool things I did? Or do you rather have God come to you and say, look at all the ways you picked up what I was trying to accomplish and you were a part of it? That's the goal. That's why Jesus teaches us to pray, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We need to get on board with what he's doing. So God closes doors to advance what he's doing, to accomplish what he wants to do. So you've got Sarah in the Old Testament, and her womb just is not producing any kids. But then he works a miracle through the whole thing, and he shows his miraculous power to this elderly woman. So Moses, you think he could have been a prince in Egypt. I mean, that would have been a pretty cool gig, but instead he's on the lam, he's a fugitive, running from the law, and he's not fulfilling his destiny. But then when he's 80 years old, he really does. And if he'd gotten used to the palace, and if he'd gotten used to being a prince, I don't think he's really going to want to be leading the children of Israel out of Egypt. So then Daniel is in Jerusalem, and he gets forced out of there. He has to go somewhere he doesn't want to go, Babylon. And yet, it's an incredible story. God uses him in such a powerful way in Babylon and still speaks to our lives today through his story. When Jesus came to earth, you would think that, okay, everything's he's going to have God's plan and he's just going to sail right through. And yet, look at how his life goes. He ends up being arrested, falsely accused, a horrific miscarriage of justice called a trial, and then he gets executed. So once again, the ultimate closed door, and then from that point, he opens the door to the tomb so that we can see that Jesus is risen. What's your closed door today? Don't be so frustrated by it, because God's ways are better than our ways. They're above our ways. They're beyond. I think of it as kind of like God playing chess. If you've ever played chess, you know that you got to think many moves ahead. And God is thinking an infinite number of moves ahead. Just offer yourself to God today. Present yourself to God and just say, God, may I be your person, your place, your time today. God bless you. Have a great day.